In this video, I was going to try to show you how to install UHMW dovetailed drawer stops in for the front of a drawer. And as the one what we're looking at right now. This is the tools I'll be using, a small 4-inch square. That could be substituted with what square you want, but I'll show you why that works so well. You can see the pieces of the plastic in the side, a 6mm chisel, a hammer. One hammer will do, but the two together are these. The heavier hammer, the dead blow hammer, works well for seating it when I'm putting it in the first time, and the metal hammer works better when you're putting it in for good. A small dovetail saw, and optionally I use a Stanley 92 plane to adjust the door stops once I have them installed, and a 10mm number 9 gouge makes it easier. It can be done with a chisel, but it's easier if you chart out the slot with the gouge. Okay, I start out by laying out lines for the dovetailed insert. I've been using this square, and this distance between this and that works out well for being able to use the 92, having enough room to use the plane. So I set up the first one. The first line is just that, and then the second line is just a little less than the width of the plastic insert, or the stock at least, for it. And then this part of the this measurement on the square is set up for the thickness of the drawer front, and so I just draw a line. The line here is where the drawer front should go to, so that we can use that when we're configuring the insert, when we mark the insert for cutting it off. And so I start out with this is, I think I call this a number 9 10mm gouge. As you don't have to use the gouge, but it's quicker to use the gouge, and whatever, it's easier for me at least anyhow, and I have the gouges. If you don't have a gouge, you can do this with just a chisel. It's just a little harder. You might have to start with a small chisel to be able to get there and make the cuts. So anyhow, now I got the slot started with the chisel. I can come in with a 10mm chisel, and first thing I do is clean up or flatten out the bobbin of it, trying to stay away from these edges enough that I don't chip the edges out. And then the way I want this slot in here, the top of the slot's gonna be inside of the line at the foot here, and then come out even over the line, coming past the entry point there. Because that's the reason for that angle is the bobbin of the dovetail. So what you're actually shooting for is the bobbin of the dovetail being 3/4 inch wide all the way through. So as the dovetail gets deeper, the top of the dovetail has to come out, or has to come toward the center of the slot. Okay, I'm just continuing on the second side. Just cleaning up and going at it. Now I'm going to make the front of the dovetail. I dovetail that in also. And to me it's hard to do by hand, so I use the mallet to help get that started. Now I'm just working on cleaning that up and getting the stuff out. It's hard to get all that out in the corner, so when I make the dovetail, I clean I chop off the corner of the front of the dovetail or the insert to so I don't have to have it perfectly clean up there. Okay, now we're going to make the dovetail. All I'm doing here is I'm taking a carving knife and doing this. You could do this with a normal knife or a pocket knife. It needs to be sharp. This stuff it's fairly easy to cut, but it's not trivial. With a dull blade it wouldn't be that easy. Okay, now I'm going to make the front of the dovetail. So now we have a dovetail, and I'll knock the corners off like I said I did. And we'll do a test fit. So, okay, the slot is definitely not wide enough. I'll come back in here and widen this part out. That's looks like where it needs it. Okay, looks like it's going in, and looks like it will go home. Well, I don't know where the pencil went, but now I need to mark where the back of the drawer should hit on here, and I normally leave a little extra material that we can trim off later. And okay, I'm going to cut off the dovetail with the dovetail saw. And that's it. Okay, now I have the insert. We'll put it in here and we'll adjust it. So to start out with, it looks a little bit high. I'm going to take the plane. You could use the chisel if you don't have the plane, the router plane, or not a router plane. Anyhow, whatever this is called, the Stanley 92. Now it's outside of my line by quite a bit. I'm going to take the chisel and do that because it's faster than using the 92 Stanley. Now I'm going to take off just a little bit with the 92. And then we'll test fit it. Once we get all the junk out of the inside. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but it's proud on the bobbin. So we need to take off a few swipes with the plane, with a 92 plane. Took off 3 good swipes. Let's see how we look now. Oh, that looks good.